you know. So I don't know what's going on. How can we get out of this mess? How?
Atlanta's water boys are accused of using Cash App to scam drivers out of a lot of money. This week alone, 2 trusting victims have come forward to say they were robbed of more than $1,000.
Shalom. First of all, let's start off by giving all honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and the apostle of Great Millstone, likewise brothers putting out this truth. Faithfully fair to see feeding the sheep and to brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson is titled The Effects of Egypt, Predator, and Praise. Now we're going to go into a couple video clips. Basically you saw in that opening clip, this is just one of many things that you have to be aware of that's taking place here in Great Babylon, America, because we're in those desperate times. Okay, and you can see with the foundation of Egypt, which this place is known as spiritual Sodom in Egypt, is giving way under the people that have come to trust in this place. You're going to see these wicked spirits rise up even more in these people. Okay, let's continue. Let's go into the first book here. This is the book of Jeremiah 4:22. And as always, we always try to correct our people, out there in the world that, have been caught up in the, mental mind screw, okay, of Great Babylon, America. It says, for my people, it's foolish, they have not known me, they are sort of children, they have none understanding. They're wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. Now, you have Jason out there, with the scam that's going on with the water bottle, and, if you got any ounce of common sense, something should tell you, to just be mindful or distrusting of someone that's standing on the side of the road selling without a license. Okay, it's a bottled water.
They say they only meant to send a few bucks to the teens who sell water at intersections throughout the city. Fox Eyes' Rob DiRienzo is live in Midtown tonight. Rob, it's an important morning.
Yeah, that's right, guys. They say no good deed goes unpunished, and these victims tell me they were just trying to send a couple bucks to the water boys over Cash App, but when they handed their phones to them to put in their usernames, they got scammed.
If y'all are in Atlanta, do not give any money to the water boys.
It was a bottle of water that cost Tristan Richardson $1,100. She encountered Atlanta's infamous water boys off the downtown connector in Midtown earlier this week.
One of the boys came up to my window, and I let my window all the way down, and I was like, I don't have any cash.
The water boy told her he'd take Cash App, so she put in her $2 payment and tried to get his username.
And then he was like, he took the phone, he was like, no, let me just type it in, you're not typing it right.
As soon as she got her phone back, she realized she messed up.
When he gave the phone back to me and I sent the payment, it was $1,100.
And it seems to be a growing trend. Police say on Monday, a man lost $1,000 at that same exact intersection, with the water boys using the same exact tactic. Last week, we told you about a woman who says she lost $800 on a QR code provided by a group of water boys off I-20 and Joseph E. Lowry.
If anybody knows me, I'm always giving to people. I'm always just helping out the community.
The emotional TikTok Richardson made right after it happened has gone viral.
I had so many comments on my video of people saying, that's the oldest trick in the book. I've never heard of that trick. Like, I live in the suburbs. I was raised in the suburbs.
She has received a lot of support through an online fundraiser, but she has this warning to others.
If you're in Atlanta and you come by, you pass by the water boys, I wouldn't even press my finger on the roll down window button. I wouldn't even press that. Like, don't even bother.
And Richardson has filed a police report with APD, who is currently investigating this. Meanwhile, she says she's opened a dispute with Cash App, but she says this could take weeks, maybe even months to resolve. That's the latest from here live in Midtown. Rob DiRienzo, Fox 5 News.
Well, it sounds like they realize it now, but it's probably best not to give your phone to anyone you don't know. Rob, it's important to know that.
Smart advice.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Rob.
And there's several things other than a scam. These people who got scammed with their money. There could be other things that could happen. To people who are claiming to be victims. You could have been poisoned. This whoever was the mastermind behind this has figured out that people in this time, even though things are tough, are still ignorant because they don't know the time or the season that we're in right now. When you go into the book of Isaiah 19 and start verse 14, it reads, "The Lord Yahweh Shemashah had mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and of course Egypt did err in every work thereof, and as a drunken man staggered his woman. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." Now let's pause there for a second, because I'm going to show you some video clips, you know, concerning how people right now, all they do is complain about the high cost of living and something they call shrinkflation.
Why are we working? Why are we working? What are we working for? I work to pay my bills and get by. But what's the point of working and trying to pay bills to get by when you have things that come into play, like, oh, the person that you're renting from is selling their house and they decide to let you know at the last minute you have like 30 days or less to get up out of here. And my thing is, I don't have options. I have no options. None. Thanks to people playing around with bills, I have a big ass imbalance on my fucking credit. I can't get nothing. I can't get shit. People didn't help me pay the ComEd. People didn't help me pay the people's gas. People didn't help me pay rent. My shit is fucked. All that shit is in my name. Fucked. You think people gave a fuck? No. Soon as Diamond lose her job, everything stops. Because I was the one paying majority of the shit in that motherfucker. Then when I get a job, I get a game plan to get shit going. Motherfuckers still don't want to pay rent. This is why I don't want roommates.
I am currently homeless. I lost my house during Hurricane Helen, whatever her name is. I've been sleeping in a tent behind Aldi's. I have applied for government assistance. I still haven't got any help. Right now, I'm just trying to get food. So that's pretty much it. If you can send a donation, please send a donation. If you can't, please say a prayer for me. I am currently looking for a place to live and a job. And right now, I don't have any hope. At this current moment, my phone is off. I have no ID. I have no social security card. And I am outside. I don't want to cry, but being outside by yourself, dealing with a lot of shit is stressful. My clothes dirty. I haven't washed my ass in a good 4 or 5 months. I'm at the library using their Wi-Fi. I've called DSS. I done called homeless shelters. I have done everything in my power to get help, but right now I don't have an ID. And I don't have any help. I have a tent set up behind Aldi's, which I've been sleeping in. And at this given moment, I understand why most homeless people give up and they snap and flip. I'm starting to understand a lot. I'm not able to comb and brush my hair. I'm filthy. I asked for a cup of water, and motherfuckers act like I'm disgusting. I am human, just like everybody else. It's just my life is fucked up right now. I'm trying not to cry because I know don't nobody really give a fuck about me or what I go through.
One paycheck. That's the line between shelter and the street.
Which you are getting less, okay? But you're still paying more money, okay? You have this, you know, the scuffle that's going over there in the Middle East between Iran and Israel, you know, which, you listen to Trump talk, and it's all jive turkey talk. But nonetheless, you're seeing gas prices now jumping up, okay, which is kind of weird, because at the same time the headlines are saying that the cost of the oil it's plummeting. So how the hell is gas going up if that's the case? So none of it makes sense. But anyways, take a look at this. And as you saw in that video, you know, people are going to start to develop in that mindset. First of all, there's going to be the blame game, okay? And this is going to be amongst Jakes, you know, who's going to blame other Jakes for their trouble. And Jakes like to blame everybody except the so-called white man for their problem. But keep in mind who's actually really in charge and who's making decisions here, okay? And the scripture made it very clear that the decision making here is like a drunken person, okay? So it's incoherent. It says, in that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and they should be afraid and fear because of shaking the hand of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashai, which he shake it over it. We're seeing times right now with all these Edomites, you know, getting those curses on them, pursuing the Deuteronomy 30 and 7, okay? We're still under the curses of Deuteronomy 28, okay? But in this time, what you're going to see here is a judgment, okay, on the Hebrew Israelite that the Lord Yahweh Shemashai has not written in the book of life, you know, which is the reason why they're going to be catching these hell in various degree. Continuing, it says, and the land of Judah should be a terror unto Egypt, and everyone that maketh mention thereof should be afraid of himself because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashai, which he had determined against it. So you're at the lowest level. You are going to go there and you're going to do these things that you see Jakes them are doing. Now let's take a look at this next clip here.
There's an alarming new crime trend from the state of Texas, which is now spreading really all across the southeast, and police say it can happen in just a few seconds.
Jugging rhymes with mugging. It spread from Texas to South Carolina. Some police in small towns there weren't even sure what the word meant until the crime started happening in their own districts.
Derived from the term mugging, but since a mug holds less, jug is make a bigger score.
This video is of a gunpoint robbery in Sherman Oaks, California. The customer throws his bag of $10,000 cash and the thieves take off. It's called bank jugging. Thieves watch you taking out money from the bank, follow you, and rob you. It can happen quickly anywhere at any time. In Austin, Texas, police report more than 60 cases in the first half of the year. And in California, police have noticed an uptick over the past few months.
Police say you can see a driver who had recently gotten money out of a Chase bank and came to this convenience store on Telephone Road. In just seconds, the 4Runner pulls up, followed by a white Chrysler. And men from the vehicles, two break out the windows on both sides of the victim's vehicle before reaching in and taking off with the cash.
And leaving envelopes stuffed with cash, or even putting it in a glove compartment. Nothing safe.
The day before, Houston police say this man took money from inside a vehicle at a car wash. When confronted by that vehicle's owner, the suspect showed a weapon before getting away with money also recently withdrawn from a bank.
In North Dallas, he backed his car in, and then 3 armed men jump out of an SUV, run up, and start pointing their guns at him, even pounding on his window, demanding he give up the cash he has on him. In this case, their plan did not work because Mark kept his doors locked and managed to escape.
Investigators say 27-year-old Johnson and 31-year-old Davis Mitchell followed a bank customer who had just withdrawn $75,000. The constable talked with both victims today.
The wife is at home. She has a broken shoulder and some ribs. She has about a 6 to 8 week recovery process. They are very relieved to know that we got these individuals off the street.
About a week ago, this jugging incident took place. You can see the video. This man was followed back to his business and beaten and robbed in the middle of the afternoon.
Police say this is Farrell Dembry and 2 others committing a jugging at the Bank of America on Fallon Loop Road last month. A 4th suspect waited in the car. A repairman was working on the ATM at the time.
The suspects had, while he was working on the ATM, pulled up, forced him to the ground, told him to lay there, indicated that they had a weapon, said they would shoot him if he moved.
Dembry disabled a different ATM in St. Louis earlier in the day, triggering a call to the repairman. They then followed the repairman around to different jobs until they got to O'Fallon.
In the video, you can kind of see this guy sneaking around the cars, and he takes something out of your car. What did he take?
He took money. He took the money I just got at the bank, and it was deliberate.
And how much money was stolen from you?
$60,000. I was just trying to, have a little cash to kind of negotiate better and that type of thing. We're never expecting that it was all gonna just disappeared.
On February 13th, cameras showed the moment he attacked Trung, body slamming her to the ground and stealing her money. He followed her after she stopped by a bank and withdrew over $4,000 to pay for a family trip to Vietnam. The Houston woman's adjusting to having limited mobility, left paralyzed. 18-year-old Joseph Harrell pleaded guilty to aggravated robbery, causing serious bodily injury, and was sentenced to 30 years in prison.
Now, you saw in that clip, okay, that thing that they have where they, they're grabbing people's money as they walk out the bank, okay? So, we always let you sisters out there, and even brothers, because you have to keep in mind that right now we're in desperate times and you're being watched. Our people are not thinking in terms of Great Babylon America is going to be destroyed really soon. So you hope the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai find favor in you to protect you through these hard times, feed you, give you the necessity that you need to keep you true until the Mashiach returns. In the meantime, everybody else is depending on Great Babylon America, okay, for their bread, okay? This is Proverbs 28 and 26. It reads, "He that trusts in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered," okay? So you can't trust in the things that you trusted in 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or before. You see this devil realizing that he has only but a short time. It's creating a situation in which you are going to have predators and praise, okay? Predators and praise. Now keep in mind, as children of the Most High Yahweh Shemel Shai, we are natural praise, okay? We're sheeps, okay? Esau prays on us all the time, in very morbid ways, okay? If you want to make it here in Great Babylon America, you may have to get down on your knees and do some nasty things. If you're a man, you might have to do some things that goes against, what the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai approves of, okay? That sodomite spirit, might take a hold of you, because these are the people that are ruling us, okay? They're sodomites, okay? This is Isaiah 33 and Psalm 6. It reads, "And wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai is his treasure." Now, why the wisdom is going to be the stability of the times? People right now, you have people who are winners and losers. They have jobs, they have careers, whatever the case is like that, and things are going well. So everybody is bold and talk shit when things are going well for them. But many of these people have never experienced a day of hell in their doggone life. And they're going to experience that. They're going to walk out there casually with their head up their ass like they always do, and somebody's going to rush them and bring them into a new way of life. They've never been assaulted before. They've never been hit. This is a lot of these people walking around. So they're not walking around with the awareness that they're in danger, that what is happening to other people right now is soon going to happen to them. We understand that the times of, before this place is destroyed, utterly destroyed, is going to be exceptionally violent. And that is going to be the thing that's going to be all-consuming here in Great Babylon America, is violence. So imagine you're going to go get your money. These fools just corner you just like that at the gas station. They follow you from the bank. They've been watching you at the ATM. You even have probably somebody that's in the bank, okay, that's assisting these people, because the people in the bank, they're not making that much money. That teller ain't making that much money, but you see you withdraw the cash. And you hear the numbers that these people were walking out there with. So they were walking with $10,000 in cash in a pouch in their hands, walking to their car broad daylight, and they think because there's cameras around and it's broad daylight and a bunch of cars on the road, they assume that they're safe. And I know a lot of you brothers and sisters know that people that walk with that type of spirit. Oh, there's witnesses and all, nobody's going to do anything. Yes, they will. We're in that time right now. This is Matthew 13 and Psalm 38. It reads, "The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one." So you have Jakes, them, or people that look like Jakes, they look like blacks and Native Americans, Latinos. In reality, they're Edomites. And Edomites, or so-called white people, are naturally wicked. Keep in mind, when we came over here, and on the way here, okay, these Edomites were raping our women. Okay, so they had a lot of these, these kids, they call them biracial, who then, obviously, married or had kids with, someone of a darker complexion and so forth, until you really wouldn't know that this person's seed line goes back to Esau, And this is a scary thing here, because, you know, you got to ask yourself the question, like, you think you're a so-called black person or a black man, you know. In reality, you're a doggone Edomite, man, you know. And someone who thinks that they're an Edomite or who thinks they're white, in reality, they're a Jake, okay? That's a scary thing there. It says the enemy that has sowed them is the devil, the harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. So there's going to come a time when the dead angels come around. They already know who's actually who. They know who's actually a Jake, and they know who are a tare, okay? It says, as therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of the world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angel, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. You'll wonder why, Jake, them are just inherently wicked. The rapists, the murders, I mean, they're cold-blooded, man. Okay? Cold-blooded, just like their father, the devil. Esau the Edomite. Okay? And he makes sure he props that up in their head through these violent video games, these violent movies. And also how Jake them rhyming these violent tunes, you know, to make sure that he can keep that spirit inside of him. He says, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There should be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Nobody wants to believe what we're saying, because their lives are good right now. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, okay, everybody I know in this ministry has a cold spirit. I have one. Okay, when it comes to people that are just mockers and scoffers and who believe that they know it all and that hell is not going to catch up with them. I am going to laugh the hell at you. I don't care who the hell you are. I will laugh the hell at you. Okay? Let's close out the book of 2nd Ezra 15 and 19, because I'm suspicious of all my neighbors. And, you know, I had to go to the bank the other day, and guess what? I had my head on the swivel, inside and outside. Okay? And you have to kind of think a little bit more tactical, but, you know, which is wisdom. Okay? I'm not going to walk out there with something I think is going to be tempting somebody to come at me. All right? It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Tribulation is trouble, man. When you don't have it. People who can't pay rent, or they lose it all, or they feel betrayed and stuff like that, they're gonna go and take it from somebody else who they think is weak. Okay? Now, these other tribes out here, they're not like Jakes, who used to be in the ghetto and the barrios and, you know, fighting each other and all that stuff like that. So they've got hell to pay over here. And I always say this to these Asians that I know, okay, y'all gonna go down, y'all gonna be a heavy target over here, because y'all are naturally soft, okay, and natural cowards. You're gonna run. You're not used to that kind of hardcore life, okay, that we're used to. We constantly have that target on our back. So you have these high-paying jobs and have your head up your ass. You haven't been touched yet, but you're gonna get touched in this society. Likewise, the Jakes that are here that has prosper and not feel the pain, okay, that other Jakes have felt. Okay, these predators out there are looking for praise because they're a product of Egypt. This is the facts of living here in Great Babylon, America, okay, which is spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt. Okay, gives you that greed, you know, lack of integrity and lack of compassion, and this is what you're going to do. So Lord will indeed lack was edified, of course, by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Shalom.